readers understand this book as a work of art. This is a work of literature, and I think that it's important for me that everyone understand this particular dimension of it beyond just the political. It's also an important creative work as well. In this book, I'm able to say everything that I really want to say, more than what I've been able to say using other modes. Through journalism and then through cinema, I was able to convey, to communicate certain aspects of our experience and certain elements of the prison, but it was always insufficient. I realised that it was always insufficient. In this book, I'm able to say everything. My aim was really to bring the reader into the prison, to see what's going on in there, to get a sense of how it feels to be in the prison, and I feel that I've achieved that with this book.
خب من الان تو این مدت خیلی فیدبک‌های خیلی مهمی گرفتیم، هم از آدمایی که تو دانشگاه هستن، با کسایی که تو فضا
I've been receiving extremely important messages. I read all of them. I consider all of them very seriously. The comments that I've received from the general public have been absolutely amazing, and I noticed through these comments, through these responses, I noticed that this book is making an impression. It's making an impact. I've even received messages from people who are members of the Liberal Party, or who support the Liberal Party, and they've actually apologised. They say that we honestly didn't know about what was going on. We didn't know the reality of what was going on, but now we have a better understanding of the system. And for me, this is really important. It shows that it's vital that people read this book. It has the power to influence people. When people read literature, they never forget it. It stays with them. I consider this book to be transformative. And I encourage everyone to read it and give it as a gift to someone that you know. Share it with friends, share it with colleagues. Invite people to go and buy it, to go and read it. Because I truly believe that this book can initiate change. When I released my film, Choka, please tell us the time, I never asked people to go out and watch the film. It wasn't something that I asked people to do, but with this book, it's different. I want people to really read this. This is one request that I have of people, to please read this book. I truly believe that this book is a tool for change. Another point that I really want to make, and this is something that came up last week, is about this perspective or the assumptions or stereotypes associated with refugees. Last week, the book was sold out in many stores, and this was because basically the stores didn't order enough from the publisher. A lot of people, it was clear for a lot of people that this was a book written by a refugee, and they didn't order enough. They didn't think it was as important as the other books that they wanted to put on the shelf. And this all goes back to the perspective or the stereotype or the assumptions, the imaginary that people have about what a refugee is, how they classify a refugee. For them, for many people, refugees can't write a good book. But this book proved them wrong. The stores sold out, and people who went to request the book missed out on buying it and had to come back another time. Even the publisher was surprised, was caught off guard. They didn't think that this would sell as well as it has. They didn't see that it's basically beyond just a book written by a refugee. It's a work of art. So the retailers realize now that people want to read this book. And the reason why this happened is really important for me. It goes back to the stereotypes or the imaginary that people have around refugee identities. This book is not just against the system. It's not just against politics. It doesn't challenge. It doesn't simply challenge all of these elements, but it's also a critique of the kind of imaginary or stereotype that people have. And this is not something that's just developed in 1 or 2 years, but this is something that is like a spirit of our age. This kind of underestimation of refugees is something that is part of our common, is part of Yeah, it's part of this age that we live in now. The biggest reviewers and the most important literary critics can see the quality of this. They've written about it. And what I ask of you is please put your perspectives, put your assumptions, put your imaginary, or reconsider your imaginary when it comes to approaching this book. Think about refugees differently. Approach this book in the same way as you would approach a white Australian author. You know, I want this to be considered as a work of art, not just something that is being produced by a refugee in prison.